Honestly, guys, I think we're gonna have to keep Katt Williams in prayer. He's gonna need protection after that interview that he did with Shannon Sharpe. It's been a couple of days now. We watched the interview last night. I watched it twice and I took notes because there were some things that kind of hit me. First of all, he protected Nick Cannon when Nick Cannon was going through his troubles, right? So he has his people that he likes. To me, he defended Ice Cube when the interviewer asked him if Ice Cube pays cheap, because some people are saying he pays cheap. And Ice Cube still came back right now on the internet giving some response saying that Katt Williams lied about some stuff. But I think what he's saying is that he lied about something to do with the character in that movie that he was in, Ice Cube's movie, Friday or whatever. I don't care to see it. Ice Cube, just shut up and sit down somewhere. He defended you, right? So he talked about Kanye and he says, we are pretty awful people if we say someone has a mental illness and we watch what they do. And I think that means that we're watching the train wreck and kind of giggling at it, right? When Kanye does his crazy stuff. And so he's talking, he went on to say that the guy married a whore. And he said, I didn't mean to make it sound awful because Kanye knew what she was when he married her. And he really did, because they said Kanye used to watch her video, you know, the eggs tape. You guys know what I mean? Would watch that when he was with another woman. And then he would Photoshop himself into the Kardashians' Christmas photo every year. That's kind of weird, don't you think? So he said the guy knew that going into it. And then, you know, the marriage split up or whatever. And then she went with Pete Davidson. Is Davidson or Davis? I don't know that guy's name. You know, another comic, right? And he goes, and then he left her. So you know that the commodities ain't good. I was like, oh my God, stop. So then he talked about Ludacris. And he said that he got $200 million to make 20 of those movies, those Fast and Furious movies. And he's on movie number 10. And I think that Luda is kind of burned out of doing these movies right now. And I think when he brought him up, well, the interviewer is the one that brings up the questions and then he answers, right? So I think when that came up, it's to just say that he's getting paid cheap. It's a lot of movies for that little bit of money, right? So he says, if you have $1 billion, you do what you want to do and then tell them about it. That's like rich people when they have a lot of money. He's talking about Elon Musk. And he goes, when, you know, he's got billions of dollars or whatever, and so he doesn't have to get a permit. Like if I wanted to do business here or you know, sell food or whatever, I have to get a permit, right? They don't have to get permits for anything. They just do what they want to do and then they come back and tell law enforcement about it. I don't did it, so what, right? So then he talked about Zuckerberg building, the guy said Zuckerberg is building a bunker. That's the guy who owned Meta or Facebook, Mark. And he says, what does he know? And so Katt says he knows that 30% of all weapon systems are running off of regular Wi-Fi. If a solar flare or a meteor hits either one of these, literally a bomb can go off just because the system accidentally got turned off. So there's something these billionaires know that we don't know, guys. We're going to have to build our own bunkers or get our own food supply or something. These preppy people, they had it. They had the right idea the whole time. So it says here that he read 3,000 books a year from the age of 8 to the age of 12. I believe it because he's so smart. So then the interviewer said something and he said, Katt said something about Wanda, and the interviewer thought he was talking about Wanda Sykes. I have my own little story about Wanda Sykes that I told on one of my other channels, and you guys can go see it there. It's on Bear Pantry Talk, all right? So he was talking about Wanda Smith, and apparently that lady told him, let me interview you in Atlanta, Georgia a few years ago. I'm not going to talk about your kids or your time in jail or whatever, and you know, it's just going to be a smooth, clean interview. And when he was trapped in the chair, she turned on him and started to ask everything that she said she wasn't going to ask, and he had to really, I don't know what I would have done. Maybe because I wanted to be professional and decent, I would have sat there and just maybe clenched my teeth and looked at her like, what the hell, where's this going? But Katt roasted that woman in real time, and I don't feel sorry for her. That interview is trending too now. That Wanda Smith interview is trending again right now. I hear that after that interview, that lady husband and son showed up trying to beat up Katt. No, this is a rumor. I don't know if it's true, right? So then, let's see. He said she wanted to embarrass him. And I guess she was using the LGBTQIA tropes to embarrass him. And honestly, the people from that community get they get really angry when you use those type of tropes to embarrass people, because there's nothing embarrassing about belonging to that community. You know what I mean? So Melba Moore, she said let me find what he said about her, that she was a black woman in a time where it mattered what you looked like, and they had a certain thing that they needed her to look like and be like in order to be successful, and she never did that. She wasn't tall enough, she wasn't hot enough or fine enough. They didn't like her hair, they didn't like her looks, but yet she went on to achieve greatness, and she's been on a list to get a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. But I guess you need money, and she didn't have the sponsorship or the funding to do it, so he's funding her whole star on the Walk of Fame, and it's gonna happen in February of this year. So I wonder if any just random people can show up to these type of things, right? Because I would definitely go and support this lady getting her star. That thing gave me goosebumps when I saw that. Then he talked about not going to the stripper bar, because if he went in there, he'd be saving all these strippers from their life. You know, if they wanted to be saved. He said he would lean forward and go, you know, after tonight, you don't have to strip no more, right? You know, and he would take care of her, and not like having to be with her, just to really pull some. Oh my God, there are good people in the world still, guys. Sometimes I wonder if there's good people in the world. So let's see who else he talked about. Let me look really quickly, guys. My notes are all over the place. We already said Kanye and Ludacris and Zuckerberg. And oh, Jonathan Majors. He was funny about this. He said, Marvel took 2 years trying to convince us that that man was handsome. And he goes, that man is not handsome. And now that he's been in scandal, they're canceling him and bringing him down. So he says, anytime they make you into that position, part of the contract, whenever they, whenever they want to, they can take you down. My cousin Effie liked to say America is a buttercup country. It says that song, why do you build me up, buttercup, just to break me down? And he goes, they'll build you up just to break you down. So he says part of the people who have what the people who have sold their soul to the devil has to do is pretend like they didn't sell their soul to the devil. Child, I've heard this man talk against Shumilinati for the longest time. I don't even want to say the word, right? But I really feel that there was a lot of truth in what he was saying. I don't think he told any lies there. You know, maybe he embellished some of the stories, which to me are not lies. My mom was a brilliant storyteller, and she would embellish some of her stories. You know, the degree might have been a little bit hotter than the degree really was, you know, that type of stuff. So I leave a lot of leeway for that. But I really do believe in most part he told the truth. And I did say a prayer for him last night after I watched the interview, because people would try to harm him, and he's such a bright light in this world. And I'm really glad that interview happened right at the start of the new year, because it absolutely broke the internet. That guy so far has like 17 million views. I'm sure he's made over $100,000 on that one video alone. I don't know if he has a deal with Katt to give Katt some of that money, but usually when you get interviewed by a YouTuber, if you don't get a little bit of something right up front for the interview, you don't have no dibs on their paycheck, right? But I'm sure Katt don't even need it, because he said he's careful what he asks God for, because whenever he asks God for it, he gets it right away. Now, what makes that happen for him more than for somebody like me, who totally have faith and believe in God? Is it because I lack faith? I don't have as much faith as Katt Williams? I'm asking myself, and I'm asking you. Or is it because of sowing? Because I sow everything that I have. I'm that woman with the pennies that put it in the thing. If that's all I have to give, right? I'll give. Katt gives and gives. And I don't know what makes his blessing comes so much more quickly than my blessing. What shortens the time between the seed, the time, and the harvest for him? And that's something that I definitely want to study. And if I were to sit down with Katt Williams face to face, I wouldn't ask him about none of those scandals and those people stealing and this and that and being trifling in the industry. I would ask him, what's the difference between you and me, Katt Williams? Why is it that when you sow, the time for you to reap that harvest is so short and you get that harvest right away? What are you doing that I'm not doing? Teach me that part of it, because I do believe in seed time harvest. And I do believe that he's blessed because he's a giver. I'm so grateful for this interview. Thanks for watching this video, guys. Don't forget to like and share. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye. So then who did you say he was with?
Megan Good.
Why, Megan Good?
Well, they say it's not true. It's to make you look softer. Because she's so...
So it's a setup.